Hello, this is Chucky from Simply Awesome Photography, and today I have the second part of the video where I am comparing the quality of the D500 with the 60mm micro Nikkor f2.8 against the D750 with the Nikon 85mm 1.8. Now I've set up this little montage of old camera equipment, and the second part of this video is the high ISO. Now the first part of this video I did 1000, 2000, and 3200 ISO, but I was asked to really push the limits, so I started with 5000 ISO on both cameras and took it to the highest possible setting. On the D500 that was 51,000, and the D750 it went up to 12,800, and then it had 3 high settings on that. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what those look like. The very first one that I had was at 5000 ISO. Both of these were shot at f8.0, and I did the auto fine tune with this. So let's jump on over. I'm going to find the D750. There it is. I'm going to hold Command so that I've got both of them selected, and then I'm going to put it on comparison. Now I'm going to zoom this to 200%, and I'm going to take this first of all to where the actual letters of the camera are, and as you can see that this is definitely sharper. The D500 right there on the left hand side is definitely sharper, and then on the D750 it's a little less sharp. It's got the it does have an anti-aliasing filter, so that might be some of the reason why it's a little bit soft here. But you will also notice that I did not have high ISO noise reduction put on this, and you can see right here that there's a lot less noise on the high ISO with the D750, and then you have much higher grain on the D500. So let's look at some of the other things. I like to look at this right there. I like to look at the actual stitching on the Nikon strap right there, and as you can see this is really sharp, and then this is just a little bit less sharp. But once again, look at that nasty noise grain that you have all over the place. So let's look at some of these other actual cameras right there. You can see that it's definitely softer on the D750 side, and let's look at these. Yes, definitely softer. Now what I decided to do is I decided to do some post-processing to get rid of some of the grain, and I put some noise reduction on it, and then I wanted to compare if the D500 still was sharp or if it softened up just like the D750. So I'm going to hit C, get out of that, and then I'm going to select the D500 picture that I put some noise reduction on, and I am going to compare that to the D750 right there, and I'm going to hit C again, and then let's take a look. As you can see now with the post processing right there that we have a closer look at the two images, and I would still have to give it to the D500 right there. It's definitely a little bit sharper even with the post-processing noise reduction. So let's look on up over here next to the actual letters. Yes, it's definitely sharper on the D500 and a little less sharp. And as you can see, if I look over there, I've put post-processing on here, and that has definitely cleaned up the noise on the high ISO. Now of course that was at 5000. I am going to guess that this is the same all the way across. I did not put the noise reduction on all of them. I just wanted to show you that the D500 was definitely just as sharp, if not sharper, than the D750 after I put the post-processing noise reduction on that. So I am going to look at that. This is where it looks like it falls apart a little bit with the noise reduction. You can see that you cannot see quite as much detail in this N right there on the strap, and as you can see on the D750 you can definitely see the detail right there. A little less detail on this strap, but it sure looks like it is better on the actual letters. on the camera right there. You can see it's much sharper on the letters, but when you get into the real nitty-gritty detail, I think the D750 takes it just a little bit. As you can see, once again, these letters are nice and sharp, and they are softer on this one. So I can say that the D500 has some benefits on the sharpness, but the D750 definitely, you can pick out some of the texture as well as some of the actual stitching on the strap a little bit better. So it's kind of a wash. This one has better on the letters, this one has better on the texture. So let's get out of this and let's compare the next high ISO, and that would be over here with the 6400. So I'm going to jump to the D750 with the 6400 right there. Hit C to compare those two. Once again, of course, the D500 cannot match the high ISO of the D750 right there. I'm going to jump over to where we have our letters again. As you can see, much clearer right there and much softer on the D750. Let's go look at the actual stitching there. Once again, I'd have to give it to the D500. We would have to clean that ISO noise up. I'm going to bring it up here to the actual lettering. Once again, very, very sharp there with a lot of grain, softer with a lot less grain on it. So both of these are still holding up fairly well. If I added the noise reduction here to the real dark areas, it would clean this up without a problem. So I'm going to get out of that. Let's jump on over to the 8000 ISO, and I am going to check out the 8000 on the D750. Hit C right there and compare the two. While that's loading, let's jump on over to the lettering once again. The D750 is holding up pretty well as far as the ISO noise reduction, and you can see that the letters are fairly clear. They're still soft, but these letters are actually a little bit better still. We still have the high ISO. It's really starting to be noticeable right there. I'm going to go down to the strap. Yes, we have definitely good detail in the strap, and of course we have that noise. So let's take that off. Let's jump on over to the 10,000 now, and I'm going to pick the 10,000 in the D750. Let's take a look there, and there we go. We still have a tremendous amount of detail, of course, with grain. This is starting to get really soft there. Let's look at the actual letters. Yes, this is absolutely still gorgeous as far as the sharpness. We would have to put some post-production noise reduction on that, I should say. And let's go over to the Nikon. Yes, still looking really good at 12,800. Let's jump on over to the next one, and that would be the 16,000. And okay, let's take a look there. Hit C. All right. The grain is getting to the point where the grain is starting to be a little bit too much. I know I'm zoomed at 200%, but you're really starting to lose a lot of the sharpness. You can see that it's getting just really, really, really grainy on that side. The D750, it's much, much softer, but you can hardly notice for how high that is the noise on there. So let's take a look. I'm going to jump over to the actual strap again. Yes, absolutely tons of detail there, but this grain is just a little bit too much. Let's go to 1:1 to see. You can still tell that that's a lot of grain, but we do not have the actual detail right there. I'm going to jump on over. Let's really, really take a look at some of these others right here. That is ISO 20,000 right there. And let's take a look here. Alright, now this is just getting really soft. You barely have any detail left there. You're starting to lose all the texture. Then the lettering looks pretty good on this, but it is still soft. And of course the ISO noise is just really bad right there. So let's take a look at the fit. Maybe the fill right there. You can definitely see all the grain over here, and this is starting to just become a little bit too soft right there. Let's jump on into the next one after this. And what do I have here? 25,600. Alright, so let's take a look there. Oops, that's not what I want. Let's hit C right there. Looking good still on the noise reduction. Absolutely wonderful on the noise reduction right there, but it's fairly clear, as you can see right there, but you're starting to really lose all the textures. And then over here, it is just way too grainy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off, and I'm just going to go up to 26,500 because anything more than that is just, it's way too much grain for the D500. So I'm going to take that off for a second, and then I'm going to go back here to the 25,600. I'm going to go to the Develop tab, and I'm going to see how much we can bring that back as far as the noise reduction. So I'm going to bring that noise reduction way down right there. Let's go put it at 50%. Maybe we'll zoom in 2:1 right there. Let's see how that looks. That's actually really sharp, and the noise is starting to go way down. I can probably push that just a little bit more and put a little bit of detail back in that. So now I want to compare that over there to the 750 and see how that goes. Let's do a comparison right there. And with the noise reduction on, it's pretty close, but once again, with using the noise reduction, I would have to give it to the D500. You look at how crisp those letters are. Let's jump on down to the actual stitching. Pretty ghastly down there as far as the detail. The detail is all gone right there, and you actually still have just a tiny bit here in the D750. Let's jump on over to the lettering over here. Once again, this lettering is nice. This lettering is much softer. So what I've learned from these super high ISO ratings on these cameras is that you can really push this D500 into the 25,600 range. Just be warned that you're going to have to use a lot of the noise reduction on that, and anything that's in great detail like this stitching right there, you're probably going to lose that at such high ISO. Let's put it back to 100%. Still, you do not have that super crisp looking sharpness that you have right there with a lot of the detail, but I will say that on the lettering, if you have any kind of lettering in anything, it's definitely going to look better on the D500. So it's kind of a wash. You're going to get some better lettering, and you're going to get some better detail in some of the picture with the D500 using the actual noise reduction, and then some of this is going to be better, like in the detail in the straps, and the detail in the actual stitching is better on the D750. So I can't really give it one or the other. Just know that without Lightroom, the high ISO is just really grainy. Anything pushed past about 8,000, you're going to start to notice considerable grain when you get into the shadows. This is Chucky from Simply Awesome Photography. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you like it, please give me a like or a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my video and tell your friends. Cheers!